Despite being oceans away from the war-torn Middle East and North Africa, and despite having the safe and peaceful United States as our neighbor, Justin Trudeau's Canada is now facing a refugee crisis. New numbers reveal Canada is edging towards an all-time high in asylum claims, something that our existing apparatuses simply cannot sustain. Here are the numbers. According to freshly posted government figures, between January and April of this year, already 12,040 asylum claims have been processed. That number refers to migrants who were intercepted by the RCMP and processed by one of two agencies, the CBSA, or Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada, the IRCC. That statistic also includes migrants who were intercepted by RCMP while illegally crossing Canada's southern border with the US. Now, for those of you who haven't heard, all day and all night, all across the 49th parallel, illegals, mostly unaccompanied Muslim men, are just walking into Canada after our Prime Minister basically invited them all via Twitter. An important caveat here, there's no real way of telling exactly how many migrants of the 12,040 have illegally walked into Canada, as the RCMP stopped reporting that figure around the time that it tipped about the 2,000 mark about a month ago. But back to what we do know. We do know that the 12,040 figure applies to asylum claims between January and April. That's a 4-month window, right? 1/3 of a year. And so you would think that the total number of applicants to date has been roughly 1/3 of the total figures from previous years, right? Well, that's where you're wrong, kiddo. Canada is on track to having the highest number of refugees in our entire history, roughly double what we've seen in recent years. Now, just 4 months into 2017, we already are over the 50% mark of last year's total refugees. As for 2015 figures, which marked the end of Harper's immigration reign and the beginning of Justin Trudeau's, we're just 4,000 refugees shy of the total annual number, a number that we're likely going to surpass within about the next 6 weeks or so if our trajectory continues. Meantime, as of April of this year, we're only a few hundred asylum claims away from the total number we saw in 2014. And we have already surpassed the total number of refugee claims that we saw in 2013 by roughly 2,000. In just the first 4 months of 2017 alone. So, suffice it to say, Canada is on track to accept about double our recent intake of refugees. But who are these people and where are they coming from? Well, it shouldn't surprise any of us that asylum seekers from war-torn Syria, Nigeria, and Pakistan were among the largest groups coming to Canada. Migrants from the United States are also topping our claimant charts. Now, if you can believe it, Canada actually received more refugee claims from the United States than we did from Somalia or Mexico or even Sudan. And it's actually about to get worse. Now, the Immigration Refugee Board is about to allow claims from Afghanistan, Egypt, Yemen, and Burundi to be decided without a hearing, a process they have already instituted for claims from places like Syria, Iraq, and Eritrea. Translation: while in previous years, most asylum seekers did not get to stay in Canada after their claim was actually tested by a real hearing, now Trudeau is bypassing that in-person court hearing to fast-track these migrants. So why does Trudeau want to fast-track these migrants, you might ask? Well, because our system is totally backlogged. Canada's refugee queue is backlogged so badly, the integrity of our entire system is now at risk, while long waits for decisions lure even more migrants in, specifically those with weaker claims who can work and get free health care while they wait for a decision. And on top of all of these stats that I've just shown you, the craziest part is these figures belie a whole other fold in Canada's refugee crisis. While these numbers are staggering, they don't actually communicate another threat and another hidden figure. Migrants who are not even intercepted by our CMP. Those who have, say, walked across our border who have not been processed by the CBSA or our IRCC. And now it is completely possible that those people will go on to live and work in our country illegally for an indefinite period of time, because Apart from our Prime Minister's invitation to the world, now there's a new municipal fad of sanctuary cities. Mayors like Montreal's, who's declared that his city is a refugee safe space, which will in turn, no doubt, serve to intensify Canada's newfound title as a target of illegal migration. Especially now, since Trudeau has lifted the visa requirement for Mexican citizens. And when you consider the fact that there are more than 1.5 million illegal migrants that live in states bordering Canada, well, the trip from New York to Montreal or from Washington State to Vancouver is a literal walk in the park compared to a trek along, say, the Rio Grande. Folks, numbers don't lie. And to be honest, I'm honestly afraid that we are only at the very beginning of this crisis. That's why this week, I'm traveling to Emerson, Manitoba, the town at the very front line of this illegal migrant invasion, where border agents say roughly half of those walking into our country are reported to have serious criminal records, including illegal trafficking and murder. Our Prime Minister created this crisis. He's even gone on the record. He's had the audacity to say that Canadians are proud of it, that we see all of this as positive and exciting. But you know what? It just dawned on me. Our Prime Minister has not gone to Emerson to actually talk to the people who have had illegals pounding on their door in the middle of the night. Can you imagine? Who have seen their resources totally overwhelmed by economic opportunists and fake refugees from the world over. If you believe that illegals walking across our border amid the highest number of asylum claims on record is indeed a crisis in this country, visit guardtheborder.com, sign our petition, and please watch all of my reports from on the ground in Manitoba. For the Rebel.media, I'm Faith Goldy. Unlike the CBC, we don't get a $1 billion handout from the government. If you believe in our journalism, please go to guardtheborder.com.